Hey guys, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and I promised a follow-up video on Jake E. Lee, and so here it is. Because now we finally have a lot more information about the whole situation with Jake E. Lee being shot in Las Vegas, but there's actually still one big piece of information that we don't know. Now, before we go any further into this, I want to lead with his dog is okay. That was something that was originally reported, and everybody has been asking about this. He was walking his dog late at night, early in the morning, and then he got shot, and everybody was like, well, enough about Jake, but what about his dog? Well, it has now been reported and confirmed that his dog did not get shot, and his dog is doing just fine. And Jake E. Lee, so far, he seems to be recovering pretty well, as far as we know, in the hospital. But I've got a new article up here from Blabbermouth, and of course I'm going to have a link to the original article down in the video description below. But this has a whole, a lot of new information, right? And it answers a lot of questions that people were asking when this story first broke. So we'll go ahead and get right into this. But of course, guys, real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool guitars and staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you've not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay. Let's take a look at this article. Here it is. This has all the information. Here's the headline. Jake E. Lee says he was shot after he confronted a couple of thieves checking out a neighbor's motorcycle. Okay, so this is obviously one of the big things is like, what, they said, oh, is it a random thing? It's like, come on, getting shot multiple times randomly? I mean, what really happened? But now we know here. So it starts off here. Jake E. Lee has offered an update on his health 5 days after being shot in Las Vegas. The 67-year-old former Ozzy Osbourne guitarist was hit 3 times in a shooting about 10 miles from the Las Vegas Strip early on Tuesday, October 15th. He was taken to the Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center's intensive care unit. Earlier today, on the 20th, Jake posted a photo of his dog on the Red Dragon Cartel Facebook page and included the following message: "Thank you again for all your concern. A quick update back home, recuperating. A big thanks to those at Sunrise Hospital for taking such good care of me." It goes on here. And some brief details about that night. Walking home from our walk, Coco, that's his dog, and I crossed paths with a couple of thieves, dressed darkly, hoodies pulled down their faces and masks covering their mouths, standing in a neighbor's driveway checking out his motorcycle. There was a verbal confrontation, which ended with an agreement that I would walk one way and they would walk the opposite. That didn't work out. I'll probably talk in more detail about it later, but right now I can only comfortably do a little at a time. Okay, that was his quote. That's what Jake said. The article goes on here. This past Thursday, Jake said in another social media post that, quote, "The police found 15 shell casings at the scene where he was shot, which means the shooter emptied his clip on me. I could only dodge so many bullets, so one bullet went through my forearm, one through my foot, and one in the back, which broke a rib and damaged a lung." According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Lee was in his driveway about to walk his dog at about 2:40 a.m. when he was shot in the forearm, the back, with a bullet breaking a rib, and in the foot. None of the shots hit a vital organ. A neighbor heard the shots, hit his kids, grabbed a gun, and called 911 in that order. Lee's dog was unharmed. And then also the good old Las Vegas Police Department also made a statement. They said, officers responded to a shooting incident in the 11,000 block of Aurora Street. Officers arrived and located a male victim suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The male was transported to the hospital. No arrests have been made at this time. This is an ongoing investigation. So, what I want to know is, there's so many people with like Ring cameras and so forth and home security cameras. Was any of this stuff captured? Was any of it recorded? Did we get are we going to get a look at these would-be thieves / gunmen? The world wants to know. It wouldn't surprise me if there is footage out there, but maybe they're just not releasing it right now because of the ongoing investigation. Now, this article mentioned where he was shot, but there's something about that is really, really important. that I'm going to get to in just a second. But let's finish the article and then we'll talk about that. Lee, who was tapped by Ozzy Osbourne to replace the late Randy Rhoads in the singer's solo band, played on two Ozzy records, the 1983's Bark at the Moon and 1986's The Ultimate Sin. In a statement to TMZ, Ozzy said, "It's been 37 years since I've seen Jakey Lee, but that still doesn't take away from the shock of hearing what happened to him today. It's just another senseless act of violence. I send my thoughts to him and his beautiful daughter Jade. I just hope he'll be okay." Brett Michaels of Poison wrote on X, "To our friend Jakey Lee, our thoughts, prayers, and concerns go out to you, my friend, after hearing the news of you being shot in Las Vegas today. We are all pulling for you and hoping that you will have a speedy and incredible recovery." Journey's Neil Schon also took to the social media platform. "Crazy world," he wrote. "Take care, Jake." Night Ranger's Brad Gillis, who also played guitar in Osbourne's band in the past, shared his own statement on X regarding the shooting. "I just heard about Jakey Lee. Glad to hear he's doing well," he said. "My thoughts are with you, buddy." After performing with Ozzy, Lee formed the hard rock band Badlands. Badlands is fantastic. He released the solo albums Retraced and Guitar Warrior in 2005 and 2007, respectively. After a self-imposed exile from the music industry and the public eye, Lee returned with a new band called Red Dragon Cartel, releasing a self-titled album in 2013, followed by Patina in 2018. And we finish off with a picture of Coco, Jakey Lee's dog, and she is doing fantastic. Imagine the trauma that the dog went through, seeing your owner shot. She probably said something like, "Ruff, ruff, ruff," which means, "No, Jake." Anyway, the thing that remains unanswered here, and there was a little hint about this earlier, right? He was shot 3 different places. The foot, who needs a foot? You're not Kirk Hammett. You don't use a wah pedal. You don't need your foot. Shot in the back, broke a rib, injured a lung. Okay, that's pretty serious, but it sounds like he's fairly out of the woods from that injury. But the forearm, he was the third shot, the shot in the forearm. The forearm, the muscles in your forearms control your hands. So here's the thing. Even before this, Jake was having problems with his joints and in particular his wrists and his hands. And he was going through a lot of different stuff to try to recuperate, to try to get his dexterity back in his hands. And he was just starting to make some headway with that. And then, boom, you get shot in the forearm. I mean, if he can make a 100% full recovery, that just gets him back to what he was before this incident, right? And he was having problems then. So it's like, he'll not only have to recover from being shot, but he'll have to even exceed that recovery to where he can get back to actually playing at 100%. And I certainly hope he can do that. Down through the years, there have been a lot of guitar players that have had really serious injuries to their arms and their hands. Yngwie Malmsteen, I feel, sometimes doesn't get the credit he deserves for, he had that, I think he crashed either a Ferrari or Lamborghini or something back in the 80s, and he had really serious, nerve damage to his hand and so forth, and he was able to come back from that. And I hope that Jakey Lee can make just as significant of a recovery from his injuries, not just the injuries, the time-related injuries that he's had before, but now, being shot in the forearm. It's a serious thing, and obviously, we're not going to know until much, much later how it all turns out. Okay, guys, but let me know what you think about all this stuff down in the comments section below. Of course, I always want to know your thoughts. And in the video description below, I'm going to, again, have a link to the original article from Blabbermouth here. And also, I will have a link to my first Jakey Lee video that I did last week, okay? Guys, thanks a ton for watching. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you very soon.